Welcome back to Music with a Twist 1960. Now, this is our final episode for 1960. We're going out with a bang because guess what? In 1960, something came out that was pretty important to a lot of people. And those were birth control pills. The sexual revolution was on its way. But actually, it was marketed as a remedy for bad menstrual cycles. If you wanted to see that it stopped pregnancy, you had to read very, very, very tiny print.
If you're curious to know why Mrs. Sanger has devoted her life to the birth control movement, if you'd like to hear her answer to the charge that birth control is a sin, and if you want to get her views on politics, divorce, and God, we'll go after those stories in just a moment. My guest's opinions are not necessarily mine. The stations are my sponsors, Philip Morris Incorporated, but whether you agree or disagree, we feel that none should deny the right of these views to be broadcast.
Our first song today is a song called Everybody's Somebody's Fool, and it was sung by Connie Francis. Connie Francis grew up in show business. She gave her first concert, I believe, when she was 4 years old. She had a teenage romance with Bobby Darin. We've heard a couple of his songs. That was until her dad ran him off with a pistol at one point, and that kind of ended the relationship. But Connie went on to be known as the first female rock and roll singer. Here is her song, Everybody's Somebody.
The tears I cried for you could fill an ocean, but you don't care how many tears I cry. And though you only lead me on and hurt me, I couldn't bring myself to say goodbye. 'Cause everybody's somebody's fool. Everybody's somebody's plaything. And there are no exceptions to the rule.
Mother died young, 11 children. That made an impression on me as a child. I was a trained nurse, went among the people. I saw women who asked to have some means whereby they wouldn't have to have.
And your father was a sort of a village atheist who clashed with church authorities, and because of his atheism, his earnings dwindled under community pressure. You and your brothers and sisters were known as, quote, children of the devil, end quote. Could it be then that in part at least you were driven emotionally toward the birth control movement because of antagonism toward the church, because that was a way to fight the church?
No, I don't think I had anything of the kind in mind. I was what I would call a born humanitarian. I don't like to see people suffer. I don't like to see cruelty, even to this day. And in nursing, you see a great deal of cruelty and unnecessary suffering. At that time, there was no opposition as far as the church was concerned. Any church. It was mainly the law, the federal law and state laws that one had to think of. The church was not in my mind at all.
Well, in going after...
There's no doubt that birth control was very liberating for women. They were not at the mercy of their husbands, and they weren't at the mercy of having 9, 10, 11 children, and never knowing each time whether they were even going to live through childbirth. It was a very rough time for women. But Margaret Sanger, although she was the founder of Planned Parenthood and did bring about the birth control pills, she was involved in a lot of controversy. And there's many people who believe that she was racist and that she was involved in eugenics in a way that was against other races. The only proof, really solid proof they have, is that she was involved in eugenics, which did not turn out to be a good thing. But she claims that she was only involved in the part that wanted to try to make better humans. I still find a ethics problem with that. I don't know whether she was racist. I don't know what her motives were. I do know that it was questioned, and that's all I can say. Our next song is a song that was sung by Sam Cooke. It was called Wonderful World, and it was what he used as a pickup line for the ladies before it came out on the radio. He used to pretend like he just thought it up off the top of his head and wrote it just for them.
Don't know much about history. Don't know much biology. Don't know much about a science book. Don't know much about the French I took. But I do know that I love you. And I know that if you love me too, what a wonderful world this would be.
Our last song is a song that was sung by Conway Twitty. It was actually sung before that by Elvis Presley under a different name called Danny. This is the last song that Conway Twitty did in his what they call the rock and roll era, because most people know of Conway Twitty from his country music era, where he sang a lot of songs with Loretta Lynn. But this one is his rock and roll song, and you can tell kind of that it's been influenced by Elvis Presley.
My name should be trouble. My name should be woe. For trouble and heartache is all that I know. Yes, lonely, lonely blue boy is my name. My life is empty. My heart has been torn. It must have been raining the night I was born. Yes, lonely, lonely blue boy is my name. Well, I'm so afraid of tomorrow, and I'm so tired.
The Negro problem is one of the most complicated and important confronting America. Whatever the ultimate answer may be, such an attitude brings to light the function of birth control as a necessary agency in its solution. The present submerged condition of the Negro is due in large part to the high fertility of the race under disastrously adverse circumstances. Thus, the question arises, to what extent birth control has had a eugenic effect upon the Negro race?
If any question should remain about...
Okay, so I stand corrected. I guess that was a little bit racist. Anyway, still thank goodness for birth control pills. Anyway, see you next time.